All right, welcome. Let's just jump right in, shall we? We're talking about something that I know hits home for so many of you guys, difficult clients. We're going to break down exactly how to handle those challenging situations. And not by getting aggressive, but by shifting into this really powerful new mindset for 2026. And you know what? Let's kick things off by just getting rid of an old, tired idea. You know the one, the customer is always right? Yeah, in 2026, that's dead. I mean, let's be real for a second. If the client was always right, why would they need to hire you, the expert, in the first place? Think about it. So, what's really going on when a client starts questioning your expertise or asking for more work or trying to move deadlines around? Look, the real problem here isn't the client. It's that you've lost control of what we call the frame. You've kind of accidentally let them start leading the dance. But hey, don't worry. We're going to get you back in the lead. We can fix this. And the way we fix it is with this one concept, the expert frame. Now, this is not about being a jerk or getting confrontational. It's all about a psychological shift. It's about you moving from being a passive person who just takes orders to being the confident, unshakable expert who guides the whole project to success. I mean, you are the leader they hired, right? All right, let's tackle our first big one, the absolute classic, the just one more thing client. Oh, yeah, we've all been there. They're the ones who are constantly asking for just one more little thing. And before you know it, the project has ballooned way, way beyond what you originally agreed to.
So, the mistake most of us make. We just say yes because we want to be nice, right? We want to be accommodating. But then we end up working for free, feeling totally resentful and overworked. The power move is what we call the financial pivot. And it's all about shifting your posture from, feeling defeated to being totally confident. It absolutely changes the entire dynamic of the conversation.
And here is the exact script you can use. Seriously, just take this and run with it. When they ask for that extra little thing, you hit them with this. That's a great idea. Here's what the additional cost for that feature would be. Or, if you'd like, we could swap it with something else that's already in the current budget. See that? It's polite, it's collaborative, but it is firm. So why on earth does this work so well? Well, because it completely reframes the conversation. It sends a crystal clear message: my time and my expertise are valuable, limited resources. You're not just saying no, you're giving them a constructive yes, and here's the price. And what this does, almost instantly, is it acts like a filter. It weeds out the clients who are just looking for freebies from the ones who actually value the extra work. Okay, let's move on to the next big challenge. Oh boy, the micromanager. You know the one. Look, in today's crazy fast markets, this usually comes from a place of anxiety, right? They're trying to control every single tiny detail because, deep down, they just don't trust the process. And what do we usually do? We get defensive. Or even worse, we just start ignoring their emails. But all that does is make their anxiety go through the roof. The real power move here is to stop being reactive and start being proactive. You're going to take control by using something we call proactive transparency. And here's how you do it. You literally say this. So, just to make sure I'm hitting our big Friday deadline, I'm going to send you one really comprehensive report every single Wednesday. That way, I get the focused, deep work time I need to deliver the amazing results we talked about. Boom. You are setting the terms. And man, this is so effective. Why? Because it puts you right back in the driver's seat. You are setting the rules of communication. And you're not hiding from them, you're optimizing for results. You're framing your need for focus as a direct benefit to them. And that simple act of creating a reliable, predictable process, well, that's exactly what builds the trust that their anxiety was craving all along. All right, now for a really, really tricky one. What do you do when a client is just dead set on an idea that you, the expert, know in your gut is a total train wreck waiting to happen? This is a huge moment, and it's all about your professional integrity. The absolute worst thing you can do is just do it anyway. Because you know what happens, right? When it inevitably fails, all the blame comes flying right back at you. Nope. The power move here is to protect the project, and more importantly, your reputation, by using what we call the risk mirror. Okay, this script is pure gold. Listen to this. First, you clearly state your expert opinion. My professional recommendation is your solution. Then you hit them with the killer question. So, do you want to proceed with the high risk option or the one that's actually backed by the data? Do you see what that does?
It puts the entire decision and all the ownership of that risk squarely back on their shoulders. Now, the key here, and this is absolutely crucial, is that you've documented this, preferably in writing, like an email. So now, if they still insist on going their own way, well, they have consciously chosen to accept that risk. And this move just completely reframes your role. You're not the bad guy standing in the way of their idea anymore. You're the expert who is actively trying to protect their investment. All right, let's get to our final tactic. And trust me, this is a big one. Think of this as your ultimate defense system. It works for any emotionally charged email or phone call that comes your way. And the rule couldn't be simpler, but it is absolute. In any professional conflict, he who gets emotional first loses. That's it. Your job is to never, ever, ever match their emotional energy. Just picture this contrast in your mind. You get this email that's just full of emotional chaos. I'm extremely disappointed. This is urgent. Fix it now. And your response? You use what we call the robot method. You do not engage with the anger at all. You just state the facts like a machine. 1. Acknowledged receipt of your email. 2. The deliverable is on schedule per the contract. 3. The next update is Wednesday as discussed. That's it. No emotion, no apologies for things that aren't your fault. Just pure, cold, objective information. So the takeaway here is so simple. Stay calm, stay factual, and stay focused on the contract. Your contract is your North Star in these situations. When you just refuse to get pulled into the emotion, you instantly de-escalate everything and pull the focus right back to the professional agreement you both signed. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What have we learned? At the end of the day, all of these tactics are about one single thing: you leading the dance. A difficult client is only really a problem when you let them take the lead. So let's just recap the whole framework. It makes it so clear. If they increase the work, the price increases. Simple. If they start to micromanage, you set the communication schedule. And if they insist on a bad idea, you mirror that risk right back to them. See? It's a simple, but man, it's an incredibly powerful way to stay in control. And I really want to leave you with this one last thought. When you start leading with clear boundaries and with hard data, one of two things is going to happen. Difficult clients will either respect your expertise and fall in line, or they'll leave. And here's the kicker. In 2026, losing a bad client is just as profitable as gaining a good one. It's a win either way. So I'm going to turn it over to you now. I want you to think about your own experiences. What's your war story with a difficult client? And more importantly, how could one of these power moves, one of these frames, have totally changed the outcome for you? Really think on that. Thanks for watching.